Well, that's an hour and 49. There was about 20 minutes worth of shite, and there's probably going to be about 20 minutes worth of game time to put in for the classic match.
Can I be perfectly honest with you? I think Stirling's shite.
See what you're saying there, Dave, then, is the pints are on you on the 27th.
I think it was definitely Witherspoon's there.
Fell into that one, didn't you? Right, are we good to go?
Aye, fire in.
We're starting a podcast, Dave, come on.
No, exactly.
What? I was going to say a joke.
No, don't it.
It was, what do you do with 365 used condoms?
What?
Make a tyre out of it and call it a good year.
Right, okay.
Hey. You're in trouble if it does that. I was thinking about this today, that... Excuse me.
Is that Pepsi Max coming back on yet?
Burpage. Oh, pardon me.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the iReady podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek, and with me is my co-host Dave. How you doing, Dave?
Derek, where are they getting the money for?
You've had that one stored up, haven't you?
Right, Derek, before we get the podcast started, it's something that you just said just about a minute ago before we started recording, but we'll get the podcast started off correctly. So, there we go.
There we go. I hope that was non-alcoholic, Dave.
It is, yes, mate. It's our old friend Pepsi Max, but as you keep saying, I don't think they're ever going to take us up on the offer to sponsor us, are they, bastards? But never mind.
Should maybe say we can have a sponsor on our sleeve. I mean, that's all we're looking for.
Exactly, a sleeve or on the back of our tops. You know what I mean? It's happening for everybody else, so why not us? We've not even got a top, Derek. That's quite worrying. We're probably the only Rangers podcast out there that doesn't have any merchandise. So we might have to go into that market. We'll have to try and find somebody that would be willing to make us a few tops and stuff like that, but that's maybe something for another day.
I'm not even wearing a top just now, Dave. So
I don't want to, Derek. I do not want to know. And before anybody asks, no, I'm in my house and Derek's in his house. It's only a few times that we've done the podcast at the studio in person. So thankfully I'm not there. Didn't want to know, Derek.
So
didn't even mention your bottom half.
Swiftly moving on.
Yes.
Yes, this is the first episode of season 8. So this is the 8th season we've actually been doing this, and who'd have thunk it, Davey?
8 seasons and we're still together, Derek. We've not split up and moved on to different podcasts and known as anything else, because there seems to be a lot of that these days. So yes, anybody that's been listening to us right from the beginning, it's been 8 seasons, and we're still going strong, Derek.
So thank you for putting up with our shite all this time.
Exactly.
We do just ramble shite sometimes.
Yeah, but we do. That's what it's all about.
Yes, so to kick off the episode, we've obviously got to start with some sad news, and that was the sad passing of David Hagan a few days ago, and that was after his battle with motor neurons disease, aged 47, and just the way these things happen, it happened just a few days before what would have been Rixon's 44th birthday as well, which is just, shocking. When you look at it, it's an indiscriminate illness, and there's just no... it's a horrible, horrible thing. There's nothing much more you can say. It takes people too soon. It's indiscriminate. It doesn't matter what age you are, it's something that can still happen. It's just a shocking and sad way to go.
It was, and as I say, coming from the sort of same area as me, coming from the Falkirk area, David says well known to a lot of football fans for playing for Rangers as well as playing for Falkirk, and he will be sadly missed, Derek, and he seemed to have just went downhill very, very, very quickly. I think, experience all the fans had with Fernando, and he went on for a while, and we saw him deteriorate. But it seemed to be that Davy Hagan went downhill very, very quickly, and it's really, really sad, Derek. And again, our thoughts are there for all of his family and his friends. Far too young to go.
Yeah. So there's obviously no really any good way to move on from that, but we've got to do it. But certainly we've got to talk about the signings we've made as well, haven't we? It's been pretty exciting, hasn't it?
It's been, what has been the best thing about it, Derek, is that the media in Scotland have had absolutely no idea what has been going on. I mean, I know the Roof signing has, it's been spoken about quite a lot, along with other people that we've apparently been targeting. But I think the way that the media had it all panned out was that we were basically going to accept any kind of bid that we could get for Morelos, no matter how shit it was, and we would be left with slim pickings, and we would be very lucky to bring in one striker. And what happens on one day, Derek? We bring in two strikers, undisclosed fee, but the rumour is that it's going to be around about sort of £7-8 million for the two of them. So fantastic business, Derek. I'll let you speak about the two players, but for us to go from having one fit striker to now having three, because right now Alfredo Morelos is still a Rangers player.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you said, the media were kind of left scrambling, not got a clue. There was claims of Josh Maja Bongani Zungu, I think is his name, from South Africa. And the media even reported that Canberra turned down a 2-year deal that we apparently offered. It was clarified from other podcasts that no deal was offered at all, and it's utter bullshit. So
it just reeked of desperation, Derek. It was like, what the hell can we say to discredit Rangers? I know what we'll do. We'll just make up some shit about Canberra no wanting to sign for Rangers, which was, absolute nonsense, because they ended up signing for St Gallen to be a replacement for their star striker, who we have just signed. So, again, I put a wee tweet out earlier on today about the media basically having any kind of a pop to, discredit us, or just to sort of get, make us look unprofessional or whatever. But it was absolute nonsense, that they made up. Everybody knew that as well. It was quite embarrassing, as well as that. So, but as I say, to bring the two players in on the same day within a matter of hours, because I missed it, Derek. I had seen the Roof deal coming through. I was like, that's fantastic. I nipped out for an hour, and I came back in, and I seen all these notifications, and I automatically thought, okay, it'll just be Roof doing, some interviews or a press conference about him, stuff like that. But no, it was another striker brought in, which I was, I hadn't even heard of this guy until the night before, till I had seen a lot of rumours on Twitter that we might be interested in him, and that's when I was kind of having a look to see who he was, because I do like the rumours, Derek, and I do like to check out who we've been linked with, and it was just great, to see us sign two players for that amount of money, and the backlash from that mob on the other side of the city has just been glorious, hasn't it, Derek? Absolutely glorious.
As you open the show with, as where are they getting the money from? That's been the calls. There was even somebody saying they've not even paid off the deals for Hadji yet and all that. What was that all about? Clearly somebody who doesn't have a clue about football, or if they do, their hatred of our club blinds them, but I don't care about them. Anyway, as you've said, we've signed Kemar Roof from Anderlecht on a 4-year deal for an undisclosed fee. He's a 27-year-old former Leeds and Oxford United player. Certainly that's a big exciting player there. And Cedric Ithen on a 4-year deal from St Gallen for an undisclosed fee. Also 23-year-old, 6'2" centre forward. Certainly two players from the brief kind of bits I've read up about them. Two completely different strikers from what we've currently got and what we've had under Gerrard so far. So it's certainly good that there's potential there to change the system, because we've been saying it for ages. When we try and play the same system when Morelos isn't there, it doesn't really work, does it? Yeah.
And going by what Steven Gerrard said on his last press conference about the two of them, he has in mind that the two of them can be a partnership because they're completely different players, and that's the sort of system that they're working on. So I don't know what the plan will be, if it's going to be obviously have to be a change of formation. Going by that, it's a great start to the season, Derek, and as I'm sure you know, we very briefly spoke about our other signing that we made, Balogun, who I thought is... I've actually got a feeling, Derek, that that's going to be one of your best buys, because, as you'll get into shortly, I thought he was absolutely excellent, but he just looks a solid player. And, it's 3 fantastic signings that we've made. And what is that, about the space of a week, Derek? Is that timeline a bit right?
I think so, yeah.
Right, so absolutely brilliant. And in areas where we're needing to strengthen, Derek, and we've strengthened with what appears to be quality players rather than bit part players. We've strengthened with guys who are looking to be playing in the first team rather than just being squad players, which is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so it's Leon Balogun was signed on a free transfer after his deal with Wigan expired. He's a 32-year-old centre-back, capped 32 times for Nigeria. So, as Dave said, we'll get into it in a minute with the Aberdeen game, but he's certainly a big, strong defender, and he showed his class against Aberdeen as well. So, we also signed a 16-year-old Tony Weston from Blackpool. Basically, it was a cross-border fee of around £200,000. Goes straight into the academy squad. We apparently beat off a number of Premiership clubs as well for him. So we've had a few kind of youngsters like that come straight to the academy. It's going to be maybe a year or two before we see what happens. They might not even make it to our first team, and they might just get transferred out again. But we'll need to wait and see. It's all about potential for the future when you come to sign players like that. There's no point. Like with Billy Gilmour, he never went straight into the first team of Chelsea. He had spent a couple of years in their academy set up before he actually made the jump to the first team, and he's injured now, but he'll hopefully come back straight into the first team.
I'm sure he will, Derek. This young lad that they've signed from Blackpool is apparently really very, very highly rated. A young striker. I don't know if that's going to fill the void of Nathan Young Coombs that apparently, I don't know if he's made the move to West Ham or not, but he was a player that was we were really pinning our hopes on for the future in that position. So he's away. So I don't know if this lad will be a sort of replacement for him in the youth setup to try and bring through it into the first team. But certainly a great prospect.
Yep, absolutely. As you said, there's media reports about Nathan Young-Coombs wanting to leave. Don't know how true that is now, because the media have fucked up everything in terms of rumours about us.
It's great, isn't it? So it's brilliant. Yeah.
And also Jordan Jones has been apparently told he's no future under Gerrard. So it's a tough one, because I think he's a decent player for the Scottish Premiership. Yes. I don't think he's been given a fair run out. But we don't see him day in and day out in training, so who knows what's going on with him there. Yeah. Obviously, it was a wee bit in bother with he got a speeding fine or something like that. I can't remember. It was certainly something to do with his car, and obviously he blotted his copybook in the first Glasgow derby that he played in by coming on and basically getting sent off straight away, didn't he? So, and he got himself injured for the rest of the season as well.
I know it's a difficult one for us to try and assess, Derek, because we haven't seen a lot of him. He has been injured a lot, and as you say, he came straight on, got sent off. Certainly when he played for Kilmarnock, he was one of their star players, capped for Northern Ireland as well. So it is a difficult one, but when we've signed a player like Ryan Kent that's predominantly going to play in that area, and we've signed Kent for a lot of money, he was basically challenging him. And when a manager brings in a player for such a big amount of money, it always looks as if that's going to be his preferred option. So he was always going to be a squad player, I think, Derek. But as you say, with the trouble that he's got himself into off and on the field, it's maybe no help to him either. So we'll just have to wait and see how that one pans out.
I mean, certainly he looks as if he's always been a Mark Allen signing, because I think we tried to go for him a year before we did, and Kilmarnock weren't entertaining us. We were looking for a cut price deal, given the fact he had no long left in his contract, and quite rightly so. So Mark Allen's left now. Could it be one of the legacy things that he's just not in favour? We'll wait and see. But obviously the elephant in the room in regards to transfers is that there was credible sources in France that reported Morelos had agreed personal terms with Lille, and it was just about the clubs having to agree a fee. It was very unusual when that story broke because it would ultimately be player tapping if the player and the buying club had already agreed something when the clubs hadn't and never been given permission. It would be a naive person who doesn't think that actually goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, of course it does, Derek. I mean, it'll go on with the vast, I've loads and loads of deals like that. But as you say, the way that it's came out hasn't been done very well, has it? And it, kind of looks bad on their part. That's the way that it's happened.
The thing is, it wouldn't be the first time that Morelos' agent has been trying to stir the pot, though, is it?
Yep.
I think there's been a wee bit more veracity in this one than normal, because I think it was Gerrard himself actually says that Lille were very far away from. Lille were quite a bit away from our valuation of them. So I think the reports were that they bid around £13 million. So I think we are looking for round about 20. I don't know, because certainly Lille, we know they're cash rich because they've sold quite a few players, even one just there for €60 million or something like that.
Yep, that's right.
So we know they've got the money, and we know how this kind of game works in that respect. But there is a point that over the last 6 months, I think, with Morelos not really kicking a ball for us after the winter break, after his attitude problems, after his red card offences, which a lot of them he did cause towards the end of the season, he did devalue himself, I think, as well. And the way he's came back, he's not been playing bad, but he's not been that goal scoring threat. He's never scored a goal yet.
Yes. So he's not been as dynamic in front of goal, Derek, but again, as you get into on Saturday, I thought he had a very good game. He was coming deeper and getting more involved in the play and stuff like that. So maybe seen another side to his game, but he's there to score goals at the end of the day, isn't he? So as you said, the longer he goes without scoring, and making headlines for the right reason, it could be devaluing him as well. So I agree with you 100%.
There could be the thing there that I was thinking about this today, that it could be the thing that we're maybe waiting on what the outcome of the Europa League. If by some miracle we do end up putting 3 past Bayer, and we do end up going through, where the quarterfinals are only next week, and then the semi-finals are a week after that, and then, should we say it, dare we say it, the finals are a week after that. So there is a possibility of that, because apparently we're not allowed to use any of our new signings because of our UEFA ruling. So the only signing we're allowed to make is Hadji, because he was technically on loan with us before the shutdown. So it's going to be a difficult one, and I can understand from a buying club's point of view that if they've got a deal agreed in principle, he goes out and plays against Leverkusen and gets himself crocked for the next year. Well, then we've just signed players with the view of getting money in for Morelos, which is a deal probably wouldn't happen because he'd be out injured for the rest of the season. So it's, if that's really the case, it's a bit of a dangerous game to play, but we don't really know what the deal is.
Derek, I would like to think that we wouldn't be that naive to do something like that. I'd like to think that, obviously it's a lot of money that's been spent on the 2 players, but I would like to think that the club have got the finances if it were to go wrong, because as I say, we are assuming that we're going to be using money that we're going to be selling Morelos for. That's basically all everybody's talking about. But surely if anything did go wrong and the deal fell through, that they wouldn't be leaving themselves in the shit. And they would have to have some sort of backup plan, because you really, you don't do things like that, especially with a big game coming up where anybody could get injured, and it could jeopardise it. So I would like to think that they're not that naive. If it was maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, then yes, but not now. So I would like to think that they have a plan B. And I think it would really screw about with the media if Morelos didn't go whatsoever and we were still going out and buying players. That would really put the cat amongst the pigeons. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. He is still a Rangers player. In my opinion, he's still our best striker. And I'm pleased that he's going to be playing in the game tomorrow night, because we need all our top players to be playing in that match for us to have any chance at all of getting any kind of result. So as I say, we'll wait and see what happens there.
I think we do need somebody on the right wing. We need more of a Barry Ferguson type of centre midfielder.
Oh,
I think.
my God, how many centre midfielders do we have in this team as well? It's quite worrying, but I can see what people are saying. I think if we could combine Jack, Kamara and Steve Davis, we would be quite happy, but we can't do that, and it's there because we do have a lot of midfielders. But I'm delighted with the signings that we've made so far, Derek, and here's hoping that there's just the start of many quality players that are coming into the team.
Absolutely. So we'll go now down the tunnel and onto the pitch. So, a few games to cover here, most of them bounce games obviously, but on Wednesday the 22nd of July, our B team, which is the new name for the under-20s, played at home to Dundee United and we lost 4-1. They were a full-strength Dundee United squad. We had about 6 or 7 first-team squad who were either out on loan, they were injured or not getting a game from the last season, and folk going absolutely mental because we lost this game. I don't think people appreciated that the game was a bounce game. It was our under-20s team. It was a full-strength Dundee United squad. You do use these bounce games to experiment, to tinker, to give people game time, to get them match fit. Yes, I know it's Dundee United, but come on to fuck, it's a bounce game.
I know, but the fact that it was Dundee United, Derek, is I think the one that was the bitter pill to swallow here, and the fact that we did have quite a few first team squad players there who I don't think have done themselves any favours with the result, because going by the reports, they didn't play well at all, and it was the actual young guys that had the better game rather than the more experienced players. So it was, Derek, we all know our support. You either win 100% of your games or you're shite. Basically, that's how it is. I've been hearing it for a long time. Disappointing for me, just the fact that it was Dundee United, but you do have to put it into perspective and remember that it is a bounce game, and here's hoping we can absolutely annihilate them when we actually play them in the league. But you just have to take it. Doesn't mean anything, but I can see that a lot of people were upset because of the team that we were playing against and the fact that they won. So. Yeah.
Well, we went 1-0 down after the 6th minute, after Dundee United got a penalty for a handball in the box. Nicky Clark scored that, typical. Josh McPake equalised on the 13th minute, so a quick reply. Finished 1-1 at half-time. United went 2-1 up on the 60th minute. Shortly later, they went 3-1 up, and on the 80th minute, they went 4-1 up. I mean, we had Andy Firth, he got subbed for Wright in the 60th minute. Patterson, Mayo, King, Bassey, Dixon, Middleton, McCrory, Docherty, Stewart, Kennedy, Young, Coombs, McPake, Mabudi, and Jones and Lindsay. So, as I said, there are some of them first teamers there, but a lot of them weren't getting a game, or they were out on loan, or they were just injured. So we'll need to wait and see on that one there. But next game, though, and it was the main first televised friendly at home. It was Wednesday the 22nd of July. We won 4-0 at home against Motherwell. It was supposed to kick off at 6 p.m. However, due to paperwork from COVID test not coming through in time, it was delayed until 8 p.m. So went 1-0 up with Kent scoring. It was a cross in from the left. Morelos knocks it back to the centre from the far post. Motherwell tried to clear it, but only went as far as Kent, and from the edge of the box he had a great volley into the bottom corner. Great goal. Second goal came from Hadji. It was an amazing cross from Barisic on the left, right to the back post, where Hadji jumps up and his head finds it and puts it into the back of the net. Aribo, and I said this at the time on Twitter, I don't care who the opposition is, just the skill that guy done, it was world class from Aribo there. It starts outside the box with, I think, him and Barisic.
It was disrespectful, Derek, be honest.
Exactly. It started outside the box with Aribo, Barisic, a wee 1-2, then got to the left side of the box, another 1-2 with Aribo and back to him again, then another 1-2 with Morelos. Aribo then, and from about 10 yards, dances past about 3 defenders at close range and then hits the shot into the back of the net. Just absolutely outstanding from Aribo, wasn't it?
It was a great goal. He's been really good, Derek. He has been He looks really, really sharp. He looks as if his confidence is sky high. He looks a danger every time he gets the ball. Especially in that game, I thought him and Hadji in this game were absolutely outstanding. And as you say, the skill that he had, the awareness just by playing the 1-2s, but the fact that he could just, with being such a big guy, to be so, because he was on his tiptoes the whole time, when he was sort of dinking the ball past the players, for him to have such close control in such a tiny wee area, and as I say, the confidence to pull it off. It was a joy to watch, wasn't it? Really, it was a fantastic goal.
Yep. No long after that, McLaughlin, our second keeper, pulls off a world-class save from about 4 yards out. It was actually a double save where I think he saved it with his leg at first and knocked it on his hand, and he saved it again. As I said, and I think I put a tweet out about this as well, I mean, he said he was coming to challenge for the jersey, and he might actually get the jersey if McGregor has a wee wobbly, because he's been nothing but outstanding, I felt, that so far in this pre-season.
It's good to know, Derek. I don't like slating, Wes Fodringham when he was there, but we all knew that if anything happened to McGregor, we would all be exceptionally worried. At least this guy does look very capable, doesn't he? He looks like a safe pair of hands if anything did happen to McGregor, and I don't think we'd have anything to worry about him coming in, into the team. And as you say, again, he's going to be looking at himself to say in the next sort of year, 2 years, he'll be really trying to push McGregor out to make that his. So competition's excellent in the team, Derek, especially in that position, and it'll keep McGregor on his toes as well.
Yep. Into the second half, we went 4-0 up with an OG. There was a cross in from the left. The defender slid in and he hit it into the back of the net. If he never slid in, then it was going right to our attacker, who was in basically the goal in the open net. The one kind of really bad thing that happened in that game, though, is Jermaine Defoe limped off with a hamstring injury. Yeah. However, fortunately, I don't think it's as serious as first thought, so he might be back sooner rather than later, which is always a good thing. Then a ludicrous thing happened after the game the next day. A report came out that along with Motherwell and Hibs, we faced a probe from the SPFL SFA. I don't know which one, because they're two cheeks of the same arsehole these days, over our COVID testing protocols. It turned out to be a load of bullshit and no case to answer at all. All we were doing is following the exact protocols that the SFA and the SPFL laid out, which is the reason for the game was delayed, etc. There was a probe into us despite Ross County and Hibs game being called off a few days beforehand for the same paperwork issues. So, Ross County were apparently on their way down and they had to about turn halfway down the road because the game got called off because there was the paperwork wasn't through in time, or it wasn't going to be. So amazing that we get roped into something that was nothing to do with us effectively.
Not really going on past experience, Derek, let's be honest.
Well, yeah. And this also was the first game that season ticket holders were given the code for RTV, and there were quite a few issues apparently. So hopefully that's all sorted out now. I think it was better for the Aberdeen game there, but my stream was absolutely fine, and that's my worries. Obviously, were the fact that there was going to be a whole load of other supporters logging onto the network and slowing down the streams. But no, they were working in the background apparently before they gave out all the codes to make sure that the bandwidth was fully up to speed, and it worked fine. And arguably, you want these teething issues to happen in a meaningless pre-season friendly rather than when it came to the main games.
Definitely.
Next game was Saturday the 25th of July. It was a 2-0 home win against Coventry. I only watched the first half and it was quite a dull and boring affair, to be honest. They were playing within themselves. Some of the same issues. I think we were kind of more dominant than them, obviously, but it was some of the same issues we were creeping into, and we were failing to break down the team. Into the second half, you watched the second half, Dave, didn't
you? Derek, what I actually... You're correct in saying that the first half is quite dull because we couldn't break Coventry down. Coventry were playing a really strange formation, Derek. It was a really sort of bizarre formation they were playing there. They're playing with three players, three central defenders, two sort of wing backs, but then they had like a sort of bank of another three players right in front of the defence. and then they were relying on their wing backs and, a sort of one guy up front that was very fast. But the two wing backs, I was really actually quite impressed with the guy that was playing right back for Coventry, because I saw that he was doing basically what Tav should be doing for us. And he was getting down the wing and putting in some fantastic crosses. He was beating his man, so he was like a winger come fullback, but he was able to get back and defend as well. So I actually thought it was a very good exercise, Derek. And if that's the reason that Coventry were picked, because of the sort of strange formation that they play, then hats off to the management team for getting it sorted, because we found it really difficult to break them down. The Motherwell game, Derek, we completely destroyed them. Motherwell, especially in the first half, but we didn't in this match. We had a lot of the ball, but we really couldn't do much with it, and it was a useful exercise because the players were having to completely change what they were doing and their approach to going forward. And then, but thankfully, we did get the goals, and it was a good result for us in the end. But I didn't see it as being negative. There was a lot of people, again, we're going back to our fans that are expecting us to win out of every game 8-9-0. I took it for the test that it was to give us something completely different. It certainly was, and they still managed to get over it. Derek is scoring, a couple of goals and just keep my clean sheet as well. So I was really pleased with the result in the end, and it dawned on me quite early that was maybe the reason that we were playing them.
Quite possibly, and I'm sure I heard that Coventry changed their full team in the second half as well. Was that right?
Yeah, yep, that's correct. But we made a lot of subs as well, Derek, to be fair. But Coventry kept the same formation, so they must have a sort of style that they do play, a system that they do play, and it makes it extremely difficult for teams to break them down. But, even though it was a friendly, we were still able to do that, which was the pleasing thing.
Yeah, the first goal was with Aribo. He picked up the ball with his back to goal near the box, turns, takes it forward, 1-2 with Morelos into the box, then takes it forward slightly, then shoots into the back of the net, kind of almost similar to his goal he scored against Motherwell. And then Goldson as well with a lovely free kick in from the right by Tavernier, right to the middle of the box. Goldson jumps up and headers it into the back of the net. He didn't even need to move, did he?
Derek, go and repeat that. Just go back a bit and repeat exactly what you just said there again for Golson's goal. It's nothing to do with your sound quality or anything, Derek, but I'm sure you actually said Tavernier with a fantastic free kick. Did you actually really say that there?
Aye,
because we've been waiting on that for so fucking long. It's unbelievable. So I didn't know if you wanted to repeat that or not.
Yes, I might do that. Tavernier with a fantastic free kick cross into the box. In fairness, no, that he did. Towards the end of last season, he did have a few good dead ball situations where he was providing like that. But it's just these free kicks, because I think he tried one against Motherwell where he tried to loft it over the wall and it just went well over the bar. He's not hit a free kick goal since he really started at Rangers, did he?
Derek, you know me, I try not to get on anyone's back, but he is starting to frustrate me already, only watching him a couple of times in pre-season games, and I'm trying to have a word with myself to say, give him the benefit of the doubt. But you have reminded me on numerous occasions how he seems to be going backwards in his play, and he's doesn't seem to be the player he was a few seasons ago, and he's becoming extremely frustrating for me, Derek, and I hope that's not a sign of things to come for the rest of the season.
Well, I'll tell you a bit about Tavernier when we get to the Aberdeen game, which I nearly had a heart attack about. But anyway, 2-0. Gerrard, after the game, he made comments, in terms of the squad, we need more. I've told the club that. In terms of where we're at from a financial point of view, they're questions for other people, but I've made it quite clear that we need to add. So Celtic fans and even some of our own fans made out that he was, with his comments there, he was working his ticket way out of the club because he was annoyed at the board for not giving them money. So really, manager in wanting more players, shocker. That should have been the headline. It was nothing further from the truth what they were making out there. Tell me a manager who doesn't want more players, and I'll tell you somebody who's not a football manager, because every manager wants more players. It doesn't matter how good their team is. So I was a bit daft that, but anyway, Into the competitive game now. It was Saturday the 1st of August. It was a 1-0 win away to Aberdeen in the Premiership. We lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Balogun, Barisic, Goldson, Hadji, Jack, Kent, Aribo, Kamara and Morelos. On the subs bench, McLaughlin, Bassey, Edmondson, Helander, Murphy, Patterson, Barker, Stewart and Arfield. So obviously the big surprise was Balogun starting.
Yes, aye. And I was quite pleased actually, Derek, because I had been reading a lot about the guy, a lot about his background. Obviously, although he's a Nigerian international, he's actually from Germany. He played in the Bundesliga, and then he went down. He got his move to England, and then he got his move to Wigan, and apparently was absolutely sensational for Wigan, and really top notch. So I was really pleased to see him come in, because I was wanting to see how he got on. And I wasn't disappointed, Derek.
Certainly not. And, as I said in the post-match pod, made perfect sense, because he had just came off a big run of games there with Wigan. So, certainly probably the most match-fit player in our squad at that point. Mm-hmm. So, in the 5th minute, there was a lovely long ball up over the top of Aberdeen defence by Goldson, looking for Kent, but the ball wouldn't come down quick enough, and the keeper gathered. And then we went 1-0 up and getting the only goal of the game on the 20th minute with Ryan Kent scoring. It started from the back, a long pass to Morelos in the midfield, who plays a lovely weighted ball to the on-running Kent, who you thought he was going to dink it round, but no, he just I don't know if it was a shot or just passed into the back of the net.
It was like a pass. I think I was the same as you, Derek. I was like, don't try and go around them, just shoot. And thankfully he did. And as calm as you like. Great ball by Morelos, Derek. Great awareness by him to know exactly where Kent was, and he just sliced Aberdeen defence, open, right down the middle, and really calm as you like by Kent. Right straight through, knew exactly what he was doing. Great goal.
Yep, quick incisive move, which is, as I said, one of our trademarks. It's becoming just that quick break up the park. 29th minute, Aberdeen with a shot from 22 yards, took a deflection off Kamara. Shot was goal bound, but easy enough for McGregor to take it to make a dive and save in the ground. 31st minute, Aberdeen, just after that, Aberdeen started to make a couple of changes, not substitutions, but they switched sides with a couple of players. 31st minute, it was good play in midfield by Aribo, got the ball and fed it to Hadji from 25 yards out, shoots and forces the keeper into a fairly comfortable dive and save. 33rd minute, great run down the left by Balogun, takes on players, beating them and winning the free kick on the edge of the box. It was brilliant getting to that point. He had probably hit the ball, probably just weighted the ball a wee bit too much for his final touch, but he got away with it because the defender brought him down. Yep. On the 37th minute, there was a corner to us. We got a bit of fortune. It shouldn't have been because it came off Morelos' legs, and that's where the half ended. So, in terms of the first half, a very good first half. It was kind of like a training game to an extent for the first 30 minutes, because we had probably about 80-85% possession. Some good quick tight passing, forward thinking, Aberdeen sitting off us, staying back and allowing us time in the ball to get forward. We unlocked our defence with Kent scoring, and as I said, Aberdeen switched things around on about the 30th minute, and they started to come out their shell a wee bit more. They were closing us down more, they were being more physical, but we handled that side of it well.
That's the only difference, Derek. I thought we completely dominated the play. It was frustrating for the fact that we were dominating so much. And I know me and you were texting each other and you were saying, it's very similar to last season. The one thing that I'll say is that I think our players looked a hell of a lot more confident in this, because I think they knew that even if Aberdeen had the ball, they were, we were winning it back so easily against them, and we weren't giving the ball away in any silly areas. And I think the confidence that Balogun has, gave the defence, I think, especially for the likes of Connor Goldson, was excellent. And I think it comes from your defence. It means that the players can go forward. The only players, the two players that I was very disappointed in, Derek, because they're big players for us just now, and they just didn't seem to get going in the game, were Borna Barisic and Hadji. I thought the two of them had very, very quiet games by their standards. But the rest of the team, I thought Aribo was excellent. I thought Morelos was excellent. I thought Ryan Kent was a menace. Every time he got on the ball, he looked as if he was going to do something. So I was really pleased with the first half, Derek, just wishing that it had been more than one. But as I say, we've always got that in the back of our heads, haven't we? And it doesn't help when you've got idiots like bloody Crocker constantly talking about the fact that what happened a few seasons ago when Aberdeen scored the late equaliser. I think that guy must have mentioned that incident at least 25 times in the second half, Derek, at least.
I mean, I was watching RTV, so I wouldn't know, but
right.
I've heard my mates were saying that, and it seems to be his new Sasa Papic was signed by Paul Le Guen phrase, so
yes,
we'll need to wait and see how that turns out, but we'll get into it. If people listen to RTV, we're not going to have to really worry about what Crocker says. Into the second half, though, it was I would say a completely different game. Aberdeen upped the stakes. We just sat back, and we, as much as Aberdeen never really threatened apart from once, they probably were the better team in that respect because they were more up for it, they were being physical, and we just seemed to play within our shell. We weren't getting forward as much. But anyway, in the 53rd minute, we had a quick break up the park, getting the ball out from the back. Hadji tries to play the ball to Morelos, but deflects off the defender, comes right back to Hadji, who tries a curler from the edge of the box, but went well wide. It was a poor effort from him.
Yes.
58th minute, the only major incident from Aberdeen, it was a free kick from Aberdeen. They floated it towards our back post. Stromash on the goal line with Balogun blocking the ball and hitting his head off the post in the process. I've not watched it back yet, but apparently it was spun round by McKenna and chucked into the post, and it looked a really serious head knock. The ball ended up falling to McGregor, who gathers on the deck, and a number of players pile in before the ref blows for a foul. And I'm sure you heard as well McGregor or somebody shouting, "Fuck's sake, ref, he stamped on my fucking head."
Oh yeah, superb. That's the one side of things that you never usually hear, Derek. Especially when there's no crowd. So that's good. And maybe, Derek, a good thing for referees at this stage, because let's be honest, we have been in the wrong end numerous times. Where things like that haven't gone our way, and there might have been a play on at that stage if there had been fans there. So maybe it was a wee a wee thing for the referee. It's maybe making them extra vigilant when they can hear things that are going on as well. So
what's more concerning though with the referee is it was quite obvious that he had smashed his head against the post, yet he never stopped to play quick enough, and even when he did blow for a foul, it wasn't for that.
As I say, I think I don't know if it should be any kind of head knock, Derek. But I mean, we could see quite clearly on the the cameras that he turned around and he got the full blow to the side of his head from there. I mean, it was an absolute disaster. I mean, I had my heart was in my mouth at that point. I thought, here we go. This guy's been absolutely outstanding for us, and he's going to go off with a head knock. But to be fair to him, he got up, shook it off, and played the rest of the game, didn't he?
Yep. On the 66th minute, it was a lovely move from a short free kick with Morelos and Kent. The ball laid off to Hadji, who had a blistering shot and deflected for the corner. 75th minute, a good ball through the middle of the box by Hadji to Morelos. Morelos gets a shot off, but deflected wide for the corner. 76th minute, Hadji off and Arfield on. As much as he was involved in the last two major plays there, he was poor all game, and as you kind of said in the first half, he was slipping a lot in the first half as well, and whatever he was trying just wasn't coming off. So we'll get into a section about subs in a minute, but 83rd minute, quick break up the park, ending in Aribo turning the defender inside and out, gets a shot off but just blocked and out for the corner. 85th minute, turning point of the game at this point for the second half, a shocking two-footed challenge by Constantine on Arfield and a straight red card. Can have no complaints whatsoever. There's a great image of Johnny Hayes covering his kind of holding his head in his hands because he realised it's such a bad challenge. I cannot believe that there was fans out there of a certain persuasion claiming that Arfield should have been sent off as well for having 2 feet off the ground.
I can believe it, Derek. I can believe it. No, it was as straight a red card as you'll see. dangerous play. You know, it looked as if, you know, intentional the whole way, and really lucky that Arfield got away unscathed as well, Derek. So, it was a shocker.
92nd minute, it was a lovely move going forward with Kent to Morelos. Kent wanted it back, but Morelos dallied and passed it into midfield. The ball played to Aribo, who was inside the box on the right, who hit a shot, but it was just cleared off the line by the defender. Very unlucky there, and I don't think Kent was too happy with Morelos as well, because he wanted an early ball played. So, it's a wee bit of vision there maybe needed. 94th minute, we got the ball forward, ending in Morelos laying the ball off to Kamara just outside the box, who tries to shoot it in over a packed box, but it goes well over the bar, and that's where the game ended. 6 minutes of injury time. I know there was about 3 minutes injury time for a Balogun injury, but I don't know where they got 6 minutes from. The one thing I wanted to mention is that obviously we had shades of last season there, because it was a case of we had a lot of the possession in the first half and we just couldn't have the killer instinct and kill the team off. And then we've seen that all it takes is just one defensive blunder. We don't even need to be playing bad. It just takes one defensive slip up and then we lose the goal, like we've done so many times last year. It cost us, at least about 10 points last year. And I was watching RTV, one of my mates was watching it on Sky, I think it was, and he texted the group chat, for fuck's sake, and it was right at the time when Tavernier was going forward with the ball in midfield and he lost the ball stupidly, and I thought, here we go, this is a goal we've just conceded, and I was getting ready to fucking go mental at Tavernier, but it was actually just, he was saying for fuck's sake because it was a shocking challenge for the red card.
Yeah.
But it was that silly piece of play from Tavernier which has, especially from him, cost us so often last year, and all it takes is one lapse in concentration late in the game, and then we're fucked because there's no time to recover.
Yeah, and as I say, that's going back, and I hate making anybody a scapegoat, Derek, but it became quite clear to me, and it took me a few seasons to realise that is the sort of weak link in the team. At the moment, and he is a very capable player, but I don't know if he can't adapt. But he's just that, he's prone to that sort of lapse in concentration, and we get punished for it. And it's something that he really needs to work on. And as you say, at that stage when he gave the ball away, I think the vast majority of us were all like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, here we go." It's mistakes like that we get punished. But thankfully, it didn't, because I really did think that we looked really solid, especially in the centre of the defence. And let's be honest, Derek, when was the last time that we can genuinely say that we looked really solid? I mean, I know we all like Katic, we all think he's a good defender. Even Golson, all these guys have all had times that they've had a bit of a nightmare and we've thought to ourselves, shit. But I really did think that the defence looked rock solid, and I wasn't that concerned that we were going to concede, even when this, as you say, when there was a big goalmouth scramble. I kind of had it, that we were going to get it clear. So I was quite happy, but I think if Aribo's shot had went in, or Morelos' chance had went in, it would have been fine. Would have been like, fantastic victory. But it was quite frustrating in the second half, wasn't it? Yeah,
I mean, I want your optimism pills for the next games then, because I was worried. I mean, my blood pressure was through the roof, I can imagine, just watching it. But
if you go back and I don't know if you said that watched it again, Derek, Aberdeen did nothing against us. Absolutely nothing. And even when there was the odd mistake, we looked a lot more confident in defence to be able to deal with it. And as I say, I think a lot of that's to do with Bulgham coming in and playing as well as he did and looking as if he'd been playing there for years. And it's the first time, as I say, for a while that I've looked at the defence and thought, we can deal with anything that's getting thrown at us here. Whereas before, there was always that in the back of your head that shit, but we had two. We've got two centre defenders in there that look very, very capable, really good players, and I think they complemented each other really well. Also, I just wish he was able to play tomorrow night. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen.
I mean, the other one thing I want to talk about in regards to the game is the substitutions. Now, obviously, we're allowed to make 5 substitutions now due to COVID, changing rules, it seems. They've to be used over only 3 periods, though, so effectively 2 double substitutions and another one. But is Gerrard's lack of changing things, and I agree that when you look back on the game, Aberdeen actually done nothing with it, but there's always that opportunity for a defensive mistake. We need to, we should know as much more than anybody that goals can win leagues, so we need to go and kill teams off like Celtic done, which we'll get into in a minute. However, is Gerrard worried that he's going to upset the balance too much if he makes a couple of substitutions, and he's thinking, well, we're not conceding any goals just now, so I don't need to change anything because I want us to go and kill teams off straight away? Then that gives us, if there is a defensive blunder and we do concede a goal, we've got that wee bit of cushion there. But is he worried about making subs?
I think, Derek, if Jermaine Defoe was fitting on the bench, he would have been on in the last 20 minutes without a shadow of a doubt. He didn't have him, and he's maybe looked at his bench and thought, right, who have I got here that I can really, can go on? I was surprised that Brandon Barker didn't come on just to give, early, to give us, extra pace going forward. It was quite clear that he had to take Hadji off, and he did that. I would have maybe taken him off a bit earlier if it had been me, but I don't know if he just doesn't fancy the players that he's got on the bench, Derek. I don't know. I'm not sure. But the one thing I thought to myself was, if Jermaine Defoe was on the bench, he would be on the now because he trusts him, and maybe that is, says a lot about the players that he has got on his bench. Players that he doesn't think are quality enough to come in and make a huge difference, which is why the 2 new signings are absolutely massive for us.
But the thing is, I've seen a lot of people say that, but I don't agree with that in terms of he doesn't believe in the quality of his bench, because he signed a lot of them there. McLaughlin, Bassey, Edmondson, Helander, all his signings. Barker, his signing. Stewart, I think his signing as well. Arfield did come on. Patterson. So they're all his signings. Helander, a £3 million signing. McLaughlin.
He is. It's quite clear, though, that Hellander's no 100% fit, Derek, and when you're playing in a game like that as late on, do you bring on a guy who's hardly played any football at all to go into defence? I think that'd be a bit dodgy, to be perfectly honest with you. And the rest of the players on that bench, as you say, Stewart, I think that Stewart's, he's fell out of favour with Gerrard, a bit like the sort of Jordan Jones things. I don't think he trusts him at all. Brandon Barker, again, I probably, if it was up to me, but I'm not the manager of Rangers, Derek, I'd have had him on. But I don't think there's enough quality on the bench for Steven Gerrard to say, at least I've got him. I can bring him on. He's a game changer and all that. I don't think they are. And I know you're saying that they're his players, but the proof of the pudding's in the eating, isn't it? And when you're buying these players and you're not seeing what you thought that they might have been up to in training or whatever, I don't know, then I think he was maybe struggling. Because again, I've said it already, if Defoe had been on the bench fit, Defoe would have been on because he trusts him 100%. But again, you are right in what you're saying, Derek. They're his players, but I think he's possibly realising he requires, to come on and just sort of change things for us. So maybe that was it.
Yeah. So in the table then, we've played 1-1, drawn 0, lost 0 for 1 goal against 0 goals, goal difference +1 and 3 points. No point going through the table now because it means absolutely nothing. No. Celtic won, as I was getting on to, Celtic won their game 5-1, and some Rangers fans were absolutely raging about this, and I agree with the fact that Celtic do kill off their teams when they get the chance. We don't. But Celtic were at home. Celtic were playing against Hamilton, who are once again relegation fodder. They survived a playoff place, if not relegation, last year due to an unsporting technicality. So let's get that straight away. They won 5-1 because of these circumstances. Yes, they did kill the team off, but you can't compare us going away to Aberdeen, who notoriously raised their game.
definitely, yeah. Definitely, and that's what you've got to look at, Derek. It's that's us now got a potentially difficult away game out the way now. First game of the season, and we've won the game, and quite comfortably. Maybe the score wasn't, but I think it was a great result for the first game of the season, Derek. Especially up there, one of the hardest away grounds that we could possibly go to. So I was pleased with it, and as I say that lot, as soon as the fixtures came out and you saw who they were playing in their first game at home, Derek, I think everybody had a laugh because they knew that what was going to happen. So no, I'm not interested in what their scores are, to be honest with you, Derek. As long as we keep winning, and that's the first very important victory of the season to us, and we got through it with a clean sheet. So superb.
Yep. So the games to come, we have got one which shall be tonight, but it's away against Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League last 16, leg 2. As I said, we're 3-1 down on aggregate. Hadji is the only summer signing that can play due to UEFA rules. We jetted out on Tuesday morning, which is I think half a day or a day before we normally would have anyway, and as I said, including Morelos as well. So a massive ask for the players. We're really not expecting anything out of the game. Part of you thinks it's just going to be another pre-season game, or a competitive pre-season game ultimately, but you never know with these things. They weren't great in their comeback when the league started back up again. They're without a few players. I think their main player who's going to go to Chelsea allegedly is going to be playing.
Kai Havertz, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll just need to wait and see how it pans out. Never say never in these things, because
I know, Derek, I am not expecting anything from it. I am hoping that we put in a very good performance. That's what I'm hoping for, and anything else is a bonus. I don't want our support getting totally carried away if we go over there and we're well beaten. This is a top quality team that we're playing, who have got a 3-1 lead, so they are well in the driving seat. I would be satisfied with Rangers going over there and making a very good game of it, and coming away with a good performance. But obviously I'm praying that they can do the unthinkable and win the game and get enough to go through, Derek. But it is a very tall order against a very good team. So as I say, I'm just hoping that we go over there and have a really good game, so that it doesn't change anything for our following league game that we've got, and it keeps the spirits are high going into that one. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep. Then it's Sunday the 9th of August at home to St Mirren in the Premiership. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff, and apparently the new Scottish Tory leader is going to be the assistant referee in that game as well. So
is that right? I didn't know that. Okay.
Quite funny, that one. Wednesday the 12th of August at home to St Johnstone. That's in the Premiership. That's a 7:45 kickoff. Sunday the 16th of August away to Livingston. That's a 4:30 kickoff. Saturday the 22nd of August at home to Killie. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff. And then Saturday the 29th of August away to Hamilton in the Premiership, and that's a 5:30 kickoff. So a good run of games there in August to keep us occupied, coming thick and fast. That's what we kind of want to see.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's now time for the classic match.
And there it is! The final whistle's gone. Rangers have won the European Cup Winners' Cup.
So Dave, you've picked a game which was going to be a nightmare to edit because there's tons of goals, isn't there?
There's tons of goals, Derek, but I was sitting looking back, as I do when I'm preparing, when we arrange a date for the podcast, and I'm looking through games, and I came across an absolute belter. A game that I remember, a boy, I think I was only about 12 at the time that this happened, which would have made you about 1 year old, Derek. So I'm not even going to ask you if you remember anything about the game, but I certainly can remember it. It's an absolute classic game to watch for the neutral, and especially for a Rangers supporter, because we did end up winning the cup after it. And of course it is the Scottish League Cup final 1987, which was played on the 25th of October, and of course back in the days it was known as the Skol Cup. It was played at Hampden in front of over 71,000 supporters, and we played against Aberdeen, and we played against a top quality Aberdeen team which was full of international players. Rangers, unfortunately, that day were without 3 key players who were all suspended. Of course, that's our player manager, the legendary Mr. Graham Souness. You know, England's number 1 goalkeeper and our number 1 goalkeeper, Chris Woods, and the England captain and our captain for the day, Terry Butcher. All of these players all suspended, so huge headaches for Graham Souness in this game for, which team that he was going to put out. So deputising in goals for Rangers that day was Nicky Walker with a fantastic mullet haircut, I've got to say. In defence, Jimmy Nicholl, Richard Gough, Graham Roberts and Falkirk's very own Stuart Monroe. And then into midfield, John McGregor, Derek Ferguson, Ian Durrant and Davy Cooper. Up front, Ali McCoist with Robert Fleck just behind him. The Aberdeen team on that day, managed by Ian Porterfield, was Bandy Jim Leighton, Stuart McKimmie, Alec McLeish, Willie Miller, Falconer, Bobby Connor, Neil Simpson, Jim Bett, Nicholas, Joe Miller and John Hewitt. So, you know, Aberdeen's defence, especially exceptionally experienced and international defenders, from goalkeeper right the way through to the captain, Willie Miller, and then obviously Alec McLeish there. Aberdeen at that point had just signed a new striker. Nicholas, his name was, who's a Welsh internationalist. Now, they signed him at that point, Derek, for about 300,000. So that's back in 1987. Aberdeen were spending money like that. They would never be able to spend any money like that now on one player. So it shows you how Scottish football has changed. But getting into the game, Derek, it was Aberdeen that was dominating early on in the match, but then on the 8th minute, it was Jim Bett who dinked a ball to Falconer, who was brought down by Nicky Walker's hand as he was attempting to get the ball as Falconer ran in goal. The referee pointed to the spot.
Here's Bett against Walker. Brilliantly finished by
Jim Bett. Stepped up and fired Aberdeen into the lead 1-0. Not long after that, Ali McCoy receives the ball on the edge of the box. Back to Derek Ferguson. He hits a shot just over the bar. Really unlucky. Rangers trying to get back into the game at that stage. It was a bit of a midfield tussle then on. Rangers trying to get back into the match. Miller and McLeish were handling McCoist and Fleck quite well at that stage, though. But Ian Durrant starting to get onto the ball and starting to dominate. And it was him who had a long-range shot which ricocheted back to Ali McCoist, who hits a snap shot inside the box just to the left-hand side of the goal, but just past. Really unlucky by Ali McCoist there. And then on the 20th minute, a ball played up to Ali McCoist at the edge of the box. He completely turns Willie Miller, you know, and you go back and see Ali McCoist doing something like this, but he completely turns Willie Miller on the edge of the box. It was Miller that sized him down right at the edge of the box, and the referee pointed for a free kick to Rangers right at the edge. And then on the 21st minute, an absolutely iconic goal, which almost every Rangers fan is bound to have seen at one stage looking back at the highlights.
That's brilliantly struck by Davy Cooper. 21 minutes gone, Rangers have equalised. And a stunning free kick from Davy Cooper. Well, they don't come any better than this. Thundering the ball past the wall. Leighton had no chances, that thundered into the roof of the net.
It was an absolutely stunning free kick by the one and only Davy Cooper. And the power and accuracy that he hit this shot was absolutely incredible. He just puts the ball down, long run up, and thunders the ball, takes some curl as well, right into the top corner of the net, nearly takes the net off. Absolutely sensational. As I say, I'm sure every Rangers fan has seen that at some point. Absolutely brilliant. Back in the game, 1-1. And then on the 30th minute, a crunching tackle by Bobby Connor on Derek Ferguson. He should have been sent off. He wasn't even given a yellow at that stage. And then on the 40th minute, Rangers get themselves in front.
Nichols' header, there's Fleck. Durrant's header to McCoist. There's Durrant, a great chance for Rangers. And that was magnificent. Walter Smith relishes the moment, and well he might. That was a superb goal from Ian Durrant. Leighton was left badly exposed, and there was the strength of off Durant. The layoff came initially from Fleck. The header followed by Durant. He then supported McCoy. Took that neat flick, sprinted through the gap, and left Leighton with no chance at all.
It was actually Aberdeen who had the ball thrown in their own box. It was a long throw up, but intercepted by Jimmy Nicholl, who manages to head the ball to Robert Fleck at the corner of the box. He finds Ian Durant in the centre, just outside the box, who plays a cool 1-2 with Ali McCoist, slips into the box and just slots the ball past Jim Leighton, easy as you like, to make it 2-1 to Rangers. And that's how the first half came to an end. So really strong finish there by Rangers. 2 fantastic goals. Into the second half, it was Aberdeen with the most possession. They couldn't get through the Rangers defence. Excellent. Richard Gough was absolutely immense in this game for Rangers. And in the 52nd minutes, Ian Durant on the halfway line run towards the Aberdeen goal, 1-2 with Fleck at the edge of the box and strikes the ball just past the left-hand side of the goal. Really unlucky, still 2-1. Then 63 minutes, Davy Cooper, absolute outstanding skill, surrounded by 3 Aberdeen players, twists, turns, skips past all 3, lays off the ball to Ali McCoist on the right-hand side of the box, who shoots, and it's just off the outside of the post and out. Would have been a sensational goal. But then in the 72nd minute, Aberdeen actually drew level.
Far post cross, Walker caught in 2 minds. Here's a great chance for Hewitt. Yes!
John Hewitt scoring for Aberdeen to make it 2-2. A few minutes after that, Aberdeen obviously lifted, going for the winner. Joe Miller getting a lot of joy down the right-hand side, but a lot of dangerous crosses into the box. 77th minute, Ian Durant brought down by Connor in the box. Clear penalty to me, no, nothing given, and Rangers now put pressing for that. But then Aberdeen take the lead on the 81st minute when Falconer scores.
Joe Miller back to Bet. Towards Faulkner! Willie Faulkner's header and Aberdeen are
So Rangers chasing it here. It looks as if Aberdeen have got the winner. Graham Souness makes the change. Trevor Francis comes on for Derek Ferguson. Very extremely experienced player coming on, trying to change some things for Rangers. 85th minute, Richard Gough is actually put up front alongside Ali McCoist. Davy Cooper on the right wing, onto the byline, shoots, saved by Leighton, cleared away, but then thankfully in the 87th minute, Rangers get the equaliser.
No one up for Aberdeen, they're all back defending as Nicholl returns it. Roberts with the header, there's Ian Durant and Fleck! As Robert Fleck, who ties it up again at 3 apiece.
Throwing everybody forward. Graham Roberts pushed forward. Nicholl plays a high ball into the box, which was flicked on by Graham Roberts down to Ian Durant, who cushioned the ball to Robert Fleck, who prodded it in past Jim Leighton to make it 3-3. Absolutely sensational game. And in the last chance, in the 90th minute before it went into extra time, Davy Cooper across from the left, Trevor Francis header out to McGregor, who shoots but over the bar. So into the extra time then, so I'm hoping everybody's keeping up with us. It was quite an incredible game. Extra time, early chance for Aberdeen. Falconer header, but straight at Walker from a free kick. 5 minutes into extra time, Ali McCoy should have scored. Durant again racing through the centre of the midfield, through ball to Ali McCoy, could have taken an extra touch, but shoots just over the bar for the edge of the box from Ali McCoy. Really should have done better. Then a few minutes later, Robert Fleck then hits a fantastic low shot, a great save by Jim Leighton. Still 3-3 at that point. And then 11 minutes into extra time, Willie Miller with a high challenge on McGregor, who was stretchered off. Willie Miller booked, McGregor injured, and it was actually Avi Cohen, Israeli international, that came on for the injured McGregor at that stage. 23rd minute, Cohen himself crosses in. Robert Fleck, a glancing header, a great save by Jim Leighton. It really could have scored there. And then the last bit of action in the extra time, Davy Cooper, a threaded ball through to Ali McCoy, who was brought down just outside the box. Everybody thought we were going to get one last chance, but the linesman blew for offside, unfortunately. So it went to penalties, Derek. Ali McCoy was the first person to step up.
Well, McCoist continues his excellent penalty kick form, gives Rangers the lead, inventing a long run up. And he picked a different corner this time. Absolutely deadly. And a disaster for Aberdeen and for Peter Nicholas in particular. The shot clipping the top of the bar and going over. Comfortably stroked into the net. And it's all going Rangers' way at the moment. That's well taken by Weir. Very short run up from Francis. But thoroughly effective. Well, not struck with too much conviction, but it was good enough to find the net.
Jim Bett also scores for Aberdeen. The second penalty's Davy Cooper, high left past Leighton to make it 2-1 to Rangers, and Nicholas comes up and hits the ball over the bar for a miss. Robert Fleck then scores for Rangers to make it 3-1 low to the right, and Weir scores for Aberdeen. Trevor Francis with a fantastic two-step penalty. He puts the ball down 2 steps backwards, looks up and just strokes the ball low and left past Leighton to make it 4-2. Aberdeen score theirs, and then it's down to Ian Durrant to win the cup for Rangers.
It certainly would be fitting if Durrant took the final kick to win the cup for Rangers. If Durrant scores, Rangers are the winners. There will be no need for any other kick. Perfectly taken by Durrant. Rangers have won the Skol League Cup after a match packed full of drama.
He duly did. Absolutely sensational the whole game, Durrant. He steps up, confident, hits the ball low to the right-hand side of the goal. Rangers win the penalty shootout 5-3. It was a fantastic game to watch. I ask any fan of any club in Scotland just to go back and watch the game, whether you're a Rangers fan or not. It was a sensational game to watch. It was one of the best cup finals you'll see as a neutral. I remember being young and, really cheering on Rangers at that stage and hoping they were going to go on and do it, and hoping it wasn't going to go to penalties and we're going to win it. But it added to the excitement at the time, Derek, and it was just a fantastic game to watch. And, Rangers lifted the cup at the end of it as well. So please go back and watch it if you can. And I apologise, Derek, for the amount of editing that you'll have to do to go through it all. But it was a great, I thoroughly enjoyed watching. I actually watched the highlights, Derek, and then I watched the whole of the second half because I found a link that showed the whole game, and I watched the whole of the second half and extra time and penalties, and it was just a fantastic game to watch. So please go back and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I've done a quick bit of editing there with the highlights there, and back and forward all game, and there was everything in it. There was controversial decisions, penalties, in terms of in the normal play, then it went to penalties. And
I know, and Davy Cooper's goal as well, Derek, as I say, I'm sure it's a goal that every Rangers fan's seen at one point in a sort of highlight clip of Davy Cooper. It was absolutely sensational, the goal that he scored. But in my opinion, Ian Durrant was man of the match. I thought he was outstanding.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have another classic match in the next episode. So now time to go into the news. So quite a few bits and pieces as ever to go over here, and the first piece is a bit of sensational news, to be honest, and it's the Rangers announced the RTV lineup. Clive Tilsley, along with Tom Miller in the commentary box, with Neil McCann and Alex Ray offer analysis. Scotland women's boss Shelley Kerr will also be on the panel, as well as current players who are potentially out injured. Emma Dodds will present the show, and if that wasn't enough, Sir Walter and the magnificent bastard himself, Graham Souness, will be making appearances also. What a statement of intent that is. I mean, Clive sorry, I can't even say his name.
Clive Tilsley,
starstruck here. But he's a household name. He's commentated on World Cup finals and Champions League finals. And then to get Walter and Souness as well, who ultimately Souness is a premium pundit on Sky Sports, is absolutely incredible.
It's, Derek, as you say, it comes to sort of commentary, especially for a Rangers standpoint, you can't get any better than that, can you? It is quite sensational. I mean, I actually had to look twice when I seen Clyde Tilsley's name being, bandied about, when it came on. Quite incredible. And if that doesn't put the Rangers TV subscriptions up, tenfold, I don't know what will, because that is really something to look forward to. It's absolutely, it'll just be so interesting to hear all of these different people's opinions on what's going on. It'll be quite incredible. I mean, that's sort of box office stuff, isn't it? I mean, that is the stuff that you pay, your £25 or whatever it is a month for Sky Sports to hear analysis like that and, commentary like that. And it's going to be fantastic and great for Tom Miller as well, Derek, because I think a lot of people, because everybody's fond of Tom Miller. I know there's a lot of folk that don't like him, but I think he's hilarious, and his knowledge on Rangers is quite incredible, and to have him still a part of it all as well will be absolutely brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only disappointing thing about it, though, is some of the comments directed towards Tom. There's no need for it whatsoever. It just, sullies, your own name, never mind the name of Rangers. There's no need for it at all on social media, especially, tagging him in of it and mentioning him and all that kind of thing. It's the guy is a professional, whether you like him or not. And, as you said, his knowledge about Rangers.
His knowledge is second to none, Derek. It really is. And whether or not you like his sort of fan-based style commentary, and that's basically what it is. The guy is a supporter, Derek. The guy is overexcited when Rangers do well. He tries to keep everyone, positive constantly when things aren't going well. And Christ, Derek, he's been through the mill being the commentator for Rangers in the last 8 years, hasn't he? So it's, I think he's done an excellent job, Tom. He's always been exceptionally gracious when he's had any interactions with us on social media. And I, for one, was delighted that he's still going to be a part of this. And to have his style along with all of these different other people that are going to be on there, Derek, it's only going to make it better as well. It's going to be really, really interesting to listen to them all, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, is there any other is there any other club-based TV channel with that level of knowledge, professionalism?
You're desperate for me to make a comment, Derek, aren't you? You're desperate for me to make a comment. Come on.
We did mention it in the last pod, but I mean, the best that they've got is Michael Stewart,
and Chris Sutton,
and John Hartson. I mean, I wasn't actually meaning them, but I'm talking about, you look at the other main clubs in the UK.
Yes.
Nobody's got any of that level of experience and professionalism there.
It's quite incredible, Derek. And as I say, it's going to be excellent to listen to them all and to listen to their takes on the games and stuff like that. It's going to be so. Even just listening to Walter Smith and Graham Souness talking about Rangers, Derek, because we know how much the club means to them. But at the same time, they will not mess their words either, especially no Souness. Souness will say straight whether he thinks things are working or not. And, it's going to be excellent. And Clive Tilsley being in there as well, Derek. Clive Tilsley's got no affiliation with Rangers. He is there purely for his, professionalism and his experience of commentating. So it's not as if we have... And again, like what I'm saying about Tom Miller, Tom is Rangers diehard, and he happens to be, the commentator of the club. So Tom obviously is going to be biased towards us, but I don't think Clive Tilsley will be. So it's going to be great to see all that as well. And it is basically the type of money that you pay for to listen to pundits on Sky. And I actually think we've got a better line-up than what Sky have now. But I honestly do. It's fantastic. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. Listen to these guys. I can't wait.
Yeah, you're saying he's not got any affiliation with the club. That's just now. Wait till he gets working, and he will be certainly a fan by the time he leaves them, I can imagine. But also another thing as well, fans in the UK will be able to purchase the home games on pay-per-view for $9.99, which is incredible. Hopefully this is the start of clubs in general getting their own way for TV deals and scrapping the stupid Sky deals. But
that's a game changer, Derek. That is a massive game changer, especially for folk that can't get to the games, and I know our RTV in the UK, you can watch the whole game sort of later on and stuff like that, but to actually be able to pay, as a one-off to get matches is absolutely fantastic.
I mean, we're a hell of a lot cheaper than other Scottish Premier clubs as well. I mean, Livingston won £20. So
yep.
That's a joke, £20 per game. So obviously that's for home games, I believe. It's not for away games. You would need to go to the relevant, unless you've obviously got a RTV subscription, you would need to go to the relevant home ground website to do that. But you're better getting the VPN, pumping the money into the club, our club directly. Anyway, social media was going crazy last week when a video emerged of someone getting a tour of Ibrox Stadium. Everybody speculated that it was a player. However, it turned out that it was representatives of our new sleeve partner, Tom Kit Tyres.
Yes. He's a great player, Tom Kit Tyres. Is he from Czech Republic or something like that?
As long as he has a good year, I don't know.
Hey,
on the note of partnerships as well, we have announced that Seco Logistics are our new official logistics partner, and they will have a sponsor badge at the top of the back of our kits as well.
Yes.
So we're going sponsored after our shirts as well now.
Yeah,
so
we are, yes.
That's
where the money's coming from.
Exactly. Next thing here is we had our awards, and which was Ryan Jack was named Rangers Player of the Year, Aribo named Young Player of the Year, Morelos picked up the Sam English Bowl for being top scorer at 29 goals in all competitions, Claire Gemmell named Women's Player of the Year, and Nathan Patterson named Academy Player of the Year. So well done to them all there.
Yeah, superb.
Right, next thing here, probably a bit of controversial views on my point, but those who pre-ordered the tops were due to get them shipped out starting the 1st of August, and they were to be brought onto our website and into the physical stores of Castore as well. It caused a bit of an absolute shitstorm online because folk didn't get them at 9 a.m. on the 1st like they thought. Could the communication have been better from Castore to say that they're starting to ship them on the 1st and they'll be out over the coming days after that? Yes, they probably could have communicated that a bit better. I think people were all expecting them to be delivered, all 50,000 of them, on the 1st. Did Castore overreach by selling 50,000 and not expecting people wanting them instantly? Perhaps. But I think folk seriously need to chill out over the issue. There was grown men online completely in greeting about it. It was... I mean, I get that if you've promised your kids the top and it's going to come on Saturday, etc., but that one's on you. That's nothing to do with the club if you've promised that your kids, they're going to be here. The Sports Direct deal finished at 23:59:59 on the 31st of July. If folk had them any earlier than that, which I know can happen with pre-orders, I've pre-ordered games before, and it's came a day or two before the actual official release date. Now, if that had happened, had the Castore sent them out any earlier, then fine well Sports Direct would have kicked up absolute shit over that, especially when it's all gone to shit with the Newcastle deal as well. They're going to fly out off the handle at anything. At the end of the day, also, we're still in a pandemic. Things will move slower. And then Tom Behan has kind of came out and admitted there has been issues, but he's said exactly what the issues were in terms of, the Sports Direct deal finishing and also the pandemic. So lessons to be learned by them, yes. Maybe manage expectations and communicate a wee bit better, yes. But seriously, folk, get a grip. I mean, I know you're wanting them, you're desperate, but we've waited so long for a proper retail deal. Surely we can wait a few days longer.
I would like to think so, Derek. It's, I think just... me, I always try to see it both ways. You do, but I agree with you. You do have to be adult about it. It's not, as long as you're definitely going to get it. That's the main thing. I know things with myself. I'm a big American football fan, Derek, and I've ordered stuff from America, and it's taken about 5 months before it's arrived over. Do you know what I mean? So, ordering the tops, that you're going to get them. But again, it's where social media comes in, Derek, as soon as somebody starts posting that they've got theirs, everybody's desperate to get theirs as well, and there's big inquiries as to why it's not happening. And as I'm sure you're about to get into the next segment about strips as well, that's not the worst thing that happened, is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Castore have confirmed that they've had reports of around 2,000 tops being damaged. They were sent out in Rangers branded bags. It looks to be that some Celtic fans have admitted to being a courier for them, for the companies they've used, and actually damaging them. They also appear that some people have actually both went to shops when they went on general sale and purchased them, and also were part of the pre-order, just to, one, damage them, to take pictures of them and say, oh, look at the shitty quality of them. One of them even taking a picture of one with a rosary bead around it. There was a picture of an empty bag from a genuine Rangers fan. There was a picture of a bag with an obvious stab mark, and then it went right through to the tops as well. Celtic fans are actually insane. It's getting to the stage now that some sort of restraining order needs to be taken out against them, because they're beyond obsessed now. And I'll get into a bit later on, but they are just beyond any reasoning.
What is the deal, Derek, with the branding on the bag? Because I know the people at Castore, they're from England, and they've probably, when sending things out, they've obviously didn't realise that it was going to be so, insane in Scotland, and they've thought it'd be because I would have said straight, and this is me, just me being me, would have said some sad bastard's going to tamper with that or throw it away or whatever as soon as they see the Rangers crest on that, because they'll know what it is. That was just me possibly being cynical. I don't know, but I'm sure I heard someone saying that they've changed the way that the packaging's going to be from now on. Is that what you've heard as well? It's going to be a plain bag that's sent out, and I think that's a sensible thing to do, because unfortunately in this country we are full of psychopaths that will do things like that, completely obsessed psychopaths that will do anything that they can so they can post it on social media to show that that they've done something to it or whatever. So I think it's the sensible thing, but it does not surprise me in the slightest, Derek, that this has happened.
No, I mean, yes, it is the probably sensible option of doing that, but there's certainly an argument to be made that we shouldn't need to do this. It's not even common decency. It's just beyond comprehensive, behaviour from them. And
they're not, Derek. That's the thing. They're not, and we both know that they're not. And as I say, I could have foreseen that happening, to be honest with you, because we know how obsessed they all are. So.
I mean, it's just the fact that they're purchasing them, they're doing bad photoshops, they're deliberately destroying it themselves and saying, oh, look at this is how it came, like basically scraping some of the lettering off. I mean, the one with the rosary beads it's priceless, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what that's meant to fucking mean. We've got plenty of Catholics that support Rangers, we've had managers, we've had captains, that are Catholic, so fuck's sake. But anyway, they've also, Hermes are apparently investigating. It will not be hard to track down who's ever done this. So any fan that's had any issues with that, please get in touch with Castore. I think they've even said that through email as well. Yep. I mean, these things will have tracking numbers. All it takes is, right, we delivered to this person. We know what batch that came in. We know what delivery driver that was. Right, we can verify it. It came. That depot was fine. It'll be so easy. There'll be people with P45s very shortly, I can imagine, and if not, criminal charges against them as well.
Yep.
So. Castore have also put up an update saying that the Rangers store will be open before the game on Thursday. There'll be an exclusive screening of the game there as well. My Gers members, I think it's Gold members first, are getting they're getting the first invites there on Thursday. It'll be open 7 days a week, which is fantastic. Right, Our products will also be available in Castore stores in London and Liverpool. The training gear will be available online from the 4th of August, which I think there's a slight delay in it, and in-store from the 6th. 2 other official Rangers stores will be announced shortly and expected to be open in the autumn, which is interesting.
Aye, well, I think surely they must be thinking about Glasgow Airport again, maybe Derek, and possibly one in Northern Ireland. That's the first sort of two places that I thought that might be, think about it, but it might be completely wrong. I don't know.
Well, we don't know what's happening with the Ger store that was run by Elite that's in St Enoch, so I don't know if they've bought the lease over for that. We don't know. We'll just wait and see. There was a picture that leaked of the mega store today. I certainly don't see where they've spent the £250,000 in that individual store, to be honest, because it looks pretty similar. But again, it's not fully finished until tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
A few other bits and pieces here is that Sky Sports, obviously they've got the main TV deal with the SPFL now. They've announced their lineup, which is Ailey Barber presenting with Darren Fletcher, Ali McCoist and John Hartson as pundits. Chris Boyd and James McFadden will be the analysts, and Ian Crocker and Andy Walker commentating. Now, apparently Walker was dropped for our game as well, and it was Ali McCoist that was in instead. So
that's right. Yep.
Apparently it was a lot better anyway from what I heard.
It is, but Ali, although is one of my footballing heroes, Derek, Ali tries to be too professional when he's in, the commentary, and I would like a Rangers legend like him to be 100% Rangers, and the amount of times that he was agreeing with Crocker and a few negative things that were being said that he wasn't taking up to task on and stuff like that. I don't think the guys, the likes of Neil McCann and players like that would stand for anything like that. They would be defending the club, whereas Ali lapses and doesn't a lot of the time, and it's quite annoying. That's why the lineup for Rangers TV will just be, it blows all the competition out the water, Derek, let's be perfectly honest.
Aye, absolutely. Next thing here is a limited number of spectators will be allowed in stadiums from September the 14th, if there's no further spikes, that is. Yeah. However, her leader has been throwing her weight around, claiming she won't hesitate to close pubs, etc. So who knows what will happen. We obviously know that part of Aberdeen is going to be locked down as well. So I'm not hopeful for any fans in stadiums 2020. Put it that way.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, Derek. It's and even then, I think, and maybe talking about a stadium the size of Ibrox, it might just be a couple of thousand fans at most. Quite a distance away from each other. So, but again, as you say, it can all change. So I'll take that with a pinch of salt just now. Yeah.
A bit of comedy is that I don't normally listen to this, but I've seen it on social media, is that Celtic fan Frank called up Clyde One and claimed that the Viola trophy that we won was tainted simply because Kent wasn't banned for domestic competitions due to his red card in the Lyon game.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was funny. I did hear it, Derek. Somebody played it back on social media. It was quite funny. And to be fair to the panel on Clyde, they all burst out laughing as soon as the guy said it. They couldn't take him seriously, which was, refreshing for them, shall we say.
I mean, this was only the end of last week. I mean, that game was played, 3-4 weeks ago, and they're still going on about it. I mean, this is what I mean about their obsession. It's not even funny anymore. It's actually deeply concerning for the welfare of some people, because they're absolute lunatics, and there's no other word to call them. It's just they are. Anyway,
before we get into that though, Derek, I don't know if you talking about the lengths that they'll go and the conspiracy theories they had. I don't know if you've seen the other one that was put today, where a Celtic fan had basically said that there was definitely some criminal activity ongoing with Rangers with regards to the funding that we have for players. Drug and gun money must be going through them for something for this now too. There must be something ongoing. It's why legit investors are scared off. So I don't know if they're thinking that the Mexican drug cartels are involved, or it's something like that. But when you hear things like that coming through, and it looks like because it was a genuine conversation between two of them, I think it's absolutely hilarious. They will go to no ends. Their wee imaginations are running wild, and it's just great. It's glorious, Derek.
I knew there was a reason why we brought Carlos Peña over, didn't I?
Exactly. It's all a part of a massive money laundering. I mean, these guys must be watching Ozark on Netflix at the moment. Do you know what I mean? So it's obviously been going on. Marty Bird's in charge of the Rangers' finances, and that's the reason that we had all these Mexicans playing for us at the time. So, absolutely glorious. So.
I mean, I even seen one tonight as well that this guy genuinely buys Rangers TV to watch the games, not because he's obsessed.
God,
obsessed.
No, definitely not.
Because he analyses the game, writes out a report about our strengths and weaknesses, and emails it into Celtic.
And I'm sure Neil Lennon is he's grateful to that guy. I'm sure he is. I'm sure Neil is. The gratitude that he must show for this guy for his expert analysis, is there. Absolutely brilliant. But he's not obsessed. Not obsessed.
No, not at all.
Oh my God. That's actually one of the funniest things I've heard in a long time.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can actually top that, but
you'll try.
Man has 15-inch eel removed after inserting it into his anus to cure constipation.
Okay. What's getting me, Derek, is over the last sort of 6 or 7 podcasts, there's always been this sort of common sort of theme that you go for it at the end of these. At the end. Yeah, I'm starting to get quite worried, but on you go.
Well, things didn't go according to plan to the unnamed man, funnily enough, as the eel managed to tear a hole through his bowels, leaving him close to death. The man who is in his 50s, who was in the Guangdong area of China, once again, it's always China. What the fuck are you doing? China.
Derek, you should be grateful for China because it's where you're getting all your stories for at the end of this podcast.
They fucked the world up, but they give us good stories at least.
Exactly.
He had severe sepsis leading to septic shock and was unable to communicate coherently, according to the general surgery.
My God.
He came in with septic shock, and during a CT scan, we suspected a foreign body in his abdominal cavity, but we couldn't quite tell what it was. Then, while we were performing a colonoscopy, we discovered an Asian swamp eel had entered his abdominal cavity. The patient was whisked off for emergency surgery to remove the eel. When the doctors opened his abdomen, they discovered it was filled with waste matter, including excrement and pus from a severe infection.
Oh, my God.
The eel was already dead, but had already caused severe bacterial contamination.
And according to him, it was to cure constipation.
According to him, yeah.
Yeah, you never know. I don't know much about Chinese medicine, Derek, but it could be plausible.
Well, the doctor said that the constipation cure was a folk remedy and warned members of the public not to do it.
There you go. So the doctor said it was legit, and it certainly wasn't anything kinky.
Yeah, well, he picked it up from the wet market, so I don't know what that's telling.
Exactly, yeah. No, we'll not go there.
No. So that wraps up the podcast.
On that note.
Yes, as ever, if you want to check out our other stuff, you can go to our website, which is ireadypodcast.wordpress.com. I really need to get that updated, which hopefully in the next week or two I will do. And you can find all the stuff we do there and all the links to all our other social media sites. So, Dave, any last words for this podcast?
Just to wish the team good luck for tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when the podcast gets out. Probably tonight. Just hope they go out and give us a great performance. And again, delighted with the signings so far. Here's hoping there's a few more.
Absolutely. So, thanks for listening and goodbye.
Goodbye, folks. Take care.
And the stadium erupts in red, white, and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.